I've never seen Israel lose the narrative so badly as we are seeing today. And it's for one reason, which I'm going to go into. But I remember, I've been following this conflict for 20 years. I remember back in the day, I saw this pamphlet that's shared by the Israeli government about how to respond to questions when people ask you. And this document is called the Israel Project's 2009 Global Language Dictionary. It's a 100-page document about every single question on how to respond to it, targeting the American base so that the Americans continue to support what Israel is doing, which is clearly, in a lot of instances, illegal under international law. It's absolutely clear that it's illegal, especially what happens in West Bank, which is happening to this day, which I'm going to go into right now. And in this document, the study says that Americans agree that Israel has the right to defensible borders, but it does you no good to define exactly what those borders should be. So avoid talking about the borders in terms of pre and post 1967, which is when Israel invaded the West Bank and took over Gaza, because it only serves to remind Americans of Israel's military history. There's a lot of those kind of points about how to tackle everything, whether the settlements are really illegal because of these kind of small clauses that makes it questionable, and there allows you a door to open and start to question more things, to bring uncertainty about Palestinian rights and things like that. There's a whole list of all those things. But the difference between that era of strong points being made and today, where, I'm not kidding, the only point that now Israel has is that if you say anything to criticize Israel, the only response you get today is, that's a Hamas talking point. They keep on repeating the same thing. This is a Hamas talking point. Well, that many children have died in Gaza. That's a Hamas talking point. Well, actually, the doctors are showing us the dead. Well, how do you know these are actual doctors and not Hamas? Well, it's actually the foreign doctors who are now telling us about this. Well, maybe they're lying because Hamas is endangering their lives. Okay, well, let's allow the journalists in to verify all this. Well, how do we ensure the safety of the journalists? We care about the safety of the journalists, so we don't want them to get hurt. It's like, okay, so it's very convenient for you to have all these excuses to come to the conclusion that it's all Hamas talking points. And even when, this is a new strategy now by Israel, the Israeli government, and we saw this with the doctor, where there's two doctor, a husband and a wife, they have 10 children, and Israel bombed their house, killing 9 of their children, sending the father to the hospital and ICU unit, and now he's actually dead. And what Israel does is it releases AI images, which is not released by Hamas, which is not released by the parents, and says, see, this is an AI image, it's fake, and therefore the story must be fake. They do not accept any criticism of the Israeli government. If you criticize the Israeli government, you are a Hamas supporter, you support terrorism, and you are against Jewish people. And then when they can't use your Hamas talking point, they resort to some other silly points. So, when the two ex-Israeli prime minister said that Israel is committing war crimes, their response is, it's political. That's why they're saying that. When more than 550 Israeli ex-senior security officials from former IDF, former Shin Bet, former Mossad, came and said that Netanyahu's war is endangering Israel, is endangering the hostages, and causes irrecoverable damage to the region and to Israel, actually sending a letter to Trump to say we need to stop Netanyahu, their response is they're being unpatriotic. It's like every organization in the world, nearly every country in the world is saying Israel's committing war crimes. And the Israeli supporters don't want to engage anymore in the conversation. The only thing they want to say is, that's a Hamas talking point. And when they can't say it because it's Israelis, ex-government officials are saying it, they're saying, oh, they're doing it for political reasons. They want to win some seats or win, the next election. It's just you guys need to find better ways, either better ways to respond to these things, or just actually see the truth for once. Because Netanyahu is actually going to damage Israel in a way we've never seen before. This is what happens when you support someone blindly. And the reason why this war is different, the issue that the Israeli government is not getting, or they were shocked when it happened, is that every other war that they've been involved in, or not even a war where they've just killed people. They've killed children before without involving a war. I've been there. I've been to West Bank. I've spoken to the people, which I guess according to Douglas Murray, I'm now able to talk about it because I've actually been there on the ground. And you talk to people, children who have lost their sisters, lost their brothers, who are children. Those brothers and sisters lost their parents losing their children, all because of gunshots, because they walked in the wrong direction or they didn't immediately respond to what the IDF was saying, and they had no equipment on them, no guns, no nothing. They weren't even throwing rocks. And they're still killed in West Bank, that is, where Israel is a occupier of that area, where there is illegal settlements being built. Only last week, 22 illegal settlements were allowed to be built in West Bank, even though it's illegal under international law. Israel now is not allowing journalists and other Arab officials from entering the West Bank to visit and see what is actually happening. And right now, we're seeing this report, sources within the Saudi royal family said to accuse Netanyahu of protecting his own interests at the expense of forging ties. He doesn't want peace. He only wants to make problems. This is at the back of hundreds of settlers attacking Palestinians in West Bank, killing some, burning their houses, burning their farming, and it's supported by the Israeli government. Nothing happens to these settlers. In fact, one of those settlers is in the Israeli government, Ben Gvir, and he supports all those actions in spite of it being illegal, not allowing journalists in. This is not even Gaza we're talking about. This is West Bank, and it's destroying the relationship with the Arab countries that do want peace with Israel, because they're not even allowing them in to verify and see what is happening in the West Bank. There is no country in the world that can do what Israel's doing with the support of the Western world, with the Western world providing weapons and intelligence to such a country. Only now do we realize actually there is a red line for governments that Israel has crossed, and it all started with actually trying to starve and having starved some people in Gaza, which is very clear from the images. And the thing that they are not recognizing is that people have mobile phones now. Unlike 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was very hard for these images to be shared online because, one, they didn't have mobile phones as much as they do today. Two, social media is available where things can spread like wildfire. We don't have the filter of established media that we had before, which didn't allow this information to be shared. Now, the alternative media is showing everything. Social media is showing everything, and it's actually forcing the established media to say, actually, we have to show everything. We have to show the truth. And if we don't, it's going to be very obvious that we are blocking information, as they have done in previous conflicts, in previous war crimes that Israel has committed, which is documented by lots of organizations, well-known organizations. But now every organization is a Hamas talking point, according to the Israeli government supporters. So whatever you say, they just don't want to engage with it at all anymore. And it's reached a point where you can't defend the indefensible anymore. That's the truth of the matter, really. The fact that you have Israeli government officials coming and talking about the war crimes that Israeli government is taking is something that I never would have expected. The fact that you have the finance minister, Smotrich, coming and saying, we're destroying everything and we are going to push them all into an area. Even the FT is now reporting about what is happening in the Gaza, this plan to resettle Look at the blue area as the military buffer zone. This is, in a lot of those areas, they call them combat zones, i.e. if there's movements, they usually shoot because they've already given evacuation orders, so they assume all the civilians left. Whoever's left is military, so they will kill in a lot of those areas. And look at this yellow is where the remaining safe areas are. There's a piece over here and a piece in the north, which is near Gaza City, and they're going to try to push that. That's according to the Israeli plans that they released. They're going to push all of that across to the south. And obviously, they say more than 60% of Gaza's built-up area is heavily damaged, and they're going to push everyone over here all the way to this area over here in the south. This very small area. It's only a fifth of Gaza. And now Gaza doesn't even have a border with Egypt anymore because Israel has buffered all that area. Gaza was one of the most densely populated areas in the world. In the small enclave that it was, now we're going to push all of those people into a fifth of that area while restricting medical supplies, while restricting baby formula, while restricting the most basic necessities for the hospitals to operate. People are not just dying from burning alive because of the bombs or their limbs being, torn off because of the bombs, but because of bacteria. Because the hospitals have been so decimated that they don't have the equipment to help the people that are injured, that the injured, when they shouldn't be dying, are dying because of diseases that are easily curable if aid is allowed to enter. And just on the aid, a lot of the talking points is about Israel providing the aid. Israel doesn't provide the aid. Israel allows the aid to enter or doesn't allow the aid to enter. All the aid is not coming from Israel. It's coming from all around the world, from different organizations, international organizations that prepare the aid and allow and actually use its resources to allow the aid to enter. And that's one part of it. The other part is actually spreading the aid all across Gaza instead of just certain points that Israel is now doing with just kind of pushing people to to congregate in one area in the south so that keep them there, which is the plan that the Israeli government said they want to do, which is to have all of Gaza go into the south and Israel is going to resettle every other part of Gaza. That's the plan that they shared, which is a war crime, which is illegal, but they're saying it out loud. Now, why would they be so brazen about saying it out loud and not caring? Because they've done it for so many years and no one has said anything about it. That's why they can just say it, thinking there's not going to be any consequences. But that era is gone where they can just do where the Israeli government can do whatever they want without the media showcasing what is actually happening. We live in the era where everything's being shared now in the alternative media and it's not controlled as it used to be. So the issue is that, yes, Hamas does steal some aid. And the argument is that, and what they do is actually some of the aid that they steal isn't just they keep it for themselves, they sell it to the Gazans at highly inflated prices and they make money out of it. But obviously that's not all the aid, and that's been confirmed by all the organizations, actually, the aid organizations on the ground. The issue or the argument of the Israeli government is that, we've allowed, well, they say we supplied, but it's really they've allowed 5 months of aid to come in during that last ceasefire. So where's all the aid? Well, obviously some of the aid has been stolen, but a lot of the aid has perished, has been bombed because, when there is a military activity around a school or a hospital or a storage for food, it doesn't matter. For Israel, it's a legitimate target. And so they bomb it. And so they've bombed a lot of the food. But also when they give these evacuation orders to immediately evacuate an area because now it's a combat zone and any movement is going to be recognized as a military activity. They actually say that. Israel says that. People just leave. They can't take all the aid with them, 5 months of aid with them. They just have to leave to another area. So a lot of that food is left behind and is not taken with them. So in reality, Gaza doesn't have 5 months of aid. Even if 5 months of aid entered during that period, a lot of it bombed, a lot of it perished, a lot of it is left behind because of the evacuation orders. And so there are many other ways to provide aid with ensuring that Hamas doesn't steal it. For one, having many different points around Gaza that allow Gazans in the north to access many different points of that aid, to ensure that aid goes directly to hospitals that are in immediate need of equipment, of medicine, to ensure that kids are not allowed to have amputation without anesthetic, which is a ridiculous request to make. The aid centers or aid distribution should be all across Gaza, and not mainly in the south, which is according to the Gaza Israeli plan of putting them all in one area in the south, 2.2 million of them, in 1/5 of the Gaza area, where before it was already one of the most densely populated area in all of Gaza, but 1/5, you can't imagine, it will be the most densely populated. That is the definition of a concentration place, where you concentrate people, deny them basic necessities, right, and make them live without any economic opportunity for years to come, right? Even Israeli officials are saying what Israel's doing is endangering the hostages. What they're doing right now in Gaza isn't going to help the hostages. The only way that the hostages were released was through negotiation, right? And obviously Hamas should be releasing the hostages. It's cruel what they've endured, and at the same time, it's cruel what the Gazans have endured too. But let's not lie to ourselves and say that the Israel government strategy, Netanyahu's strategy now, is to really just save the hostages, when even the Israeli government officials, ex-officials, are all saying what he's doing is endangering not just the hostages, but Israel itself. If you did like this video, do hit the like and subscribe button. And let me know your thoughts about the change in narrative now regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict.